You're sitting there right now, staring at the ceiling, replaying the date in your head. It started perfectly, didn't it? You were laughing, the drinks were flowing, the chemistry was electric. Then, out of nowhere snap, the air left the room. She made a weird comment, maybe a dig at your shoes, or she suddenly went cold and checked her phone while you were mid-sentence. And what did you do? You froze, you laughed nervously. You apologized for something you didn't even do. You felt that drop in your stomach, that sick, hollow feeling? That was the exact moment you failed the test. You didn't even know you were taking an exam, and you just flunked it. Now you're confused. You're thinking, she's just moody, or maybe I said the wrong thing. Stop, you are being gaslit by your own ignorance. She wasn't being moody, she was running a diagnostic on your spine. She was shaking the tree to see if the roots were deep, and you just toppled over like a dead sapling. It hurts. I know, I've been there. I used to be the guy who would bend over backward just to keep the peace. Society trained us this way. From the time you were in kindergarten, you were told to be nice, be accommodating, share your toys, don't rock the boat. The movies told you that if you just tolerate enough disrespect, she eventually see your heart of gold and love you forever. That is a lie. That is absolute poison. In the real world, in the cold, hard biological reality of mating, tolerance of disrespect does not breed love. It breeds the ick. You need to understand the evolutionary psychology here. A woman's biological imperative is to find a man who is competent, dangerous enough to protect her, and stable enough not to crumble under pressure. She cannot simply ask you, hey, are you strong? Because you'll lie, you'll say yes, so she has to test you. She has to throw a wrench in the gears to see if you panic. It's not malicious, it's instinct. She is testing for safety. And when you fold, you are screaming to her primal brain, I am not safe. I am weak, I cannot handle you. So I definitely cannot handle the world. So let's look at the wreckage. Let's look at the 3 specific ways you likely already failed, so you never make this mistake again. First, you probably failed the compliance test. This is the subtle one. Let's say you had plans for Friday at 8 p.m. At 7:30, she texts you, actually, can we go to this other place instead? It's closer to my friend's house. Or maybe she asks you to hold her purse while she takes a selfie. It seems innocent, but watch out. If you immediately say, sure, whatever you want, you think you're being easygoing. She sees a man who can be led. You just jumped through a hoop. You are performing like a circus seal for a fish. A high-value man evaluates the request. If it's inconvenient, he says, no, we're sticking to the plan. I already made reservations. See you there. He isn't mean. He just has boundaries. If you change your life to fit her whims, you are subcommunicating that your time and your mission are less valuable than her momentary feelings. Then it gets worse with the emotional volatility test. This is where most guys get absolutely destroyed. She picks a fight, she acts irrational. She accuses you of something wild just to see if you'll bite. She is creating a storm to see if you are the rock or the leaf. If you get angry, if you start yelling, or worse, if you start pleading and explaining yourself, you lose. You entered her frame, you let her chaos disrupt your order. A man who folds under emotional pressure is useless in a crisis. When she throws a tantrum and you start crying or raging, she realizes she can control your emotional state. That is terrifying for a woman. She wants to know that no matter how crazy the storm gets, you remain the captain of the ship. You failed because you lost your cool. You let her drive the car, and the final nail in the coffin? The jealousy trap. She mentions an ex-boyfriend. She talks about the guy at the gym who hit on her. She glances at the bartender. She is checking your confidence levels. If you get sulky if you ask, who is he? Or make a passive-aggressive comment, you just told her that you don't think you're the prize. You're acting like a fan, not a player. A king isn't worried about the peasants. If she brings up another guy and you react with insecurity, you are validating that the other guy is a threat. You should be so focused on your purpose, so confident in your value, that the idea of her leaving is her loss. not yours. If you showed fear of losing her, you already lost her. This is a gut punch. I know. It sucks to realize you played the nice guy and got burned. But you need to kill that nice guy. He is ruining your life. If you want to stop being a doormat and start being a man who commands respect, you need to reprogram your mind. Join the tribe, subscribe. We don't sugarcoat reality here. We master it. Here is the bottom line. Her tests never stop. Even if you've been married for 50 years, she will test you. She needs to know the man she chose is still capable. Don't look at these tests as insults. Look at them as opportunities. Every time she throws a curveball, it is a chance for you to swing the bat and show her you've got a spine of steel. Stop apologizing for existing. Stop asking for permission. Next time she tests you, don't get angry, just smirk. Look her in the eye with zero fear and let her know that you cannot be moved. That is how you win. That is how you keep the girl. But more importantly, that is how you keep your dignity.